Please consult a professional before making any drastic changes to diet. What we all really want to know is, should we be fasting? Is it the secret to fat loss and living forever? Are we supposed to know what terms like molecular hormesis and autophagy even mean? We will be seeking answers to these questions and creating a foolproof guide to fasting together. We know what time-restricted eating and fasting are, but how do we know what method we should do and what is best for each of us individually? Experts like Peter Attia, Rhonda Patrick, and David Sinclair are at the leading edge of the data on fasting and its health benefits, and I will be including them in this analysis because they seem very sure of its long-term effects.
Long-term fasting.
I'm gonna call this fuzzy. And to your priming earlier, I'm going to tell you this is an area where I've seen an enormous change in my point of view.
The trick to longevity is a term called hormesis. A little bit of stress on your body, running, bit of hunger, cold, heat, puts your body in a state of perceived adversity, put your body in a kind of a scared state. Oh my goodness, I could die.
Fasting, aka perceived adversity, creates resilience.
We don't store amino acids. We need a constant source of it. And when we don't get amino acids, we start to experience muscle breakdown. And there's two signals for muscle protein synthesis: protein intake, and then the other signal is mechanical stress, right? So just resistance training.
So fasting doesn't encourage resilience because we're losing muscle, because we're not eating protein or lifting weights. In times of confusion like this, I go to my most trusted sources of information.
Well, hello there.
Well, hello there.
How are you, darling? What did intermittent fasting do for me? It changed my whole outlook on food. It changed my weight. It helped my gut specifically by having more time where there's not food in it, so it can do more healing. And that was pretty imperative for me because I hadn't been feeling good for such a long time. I like the time of it too. I like the fact that, just for me, that I just have to have 2 meals a day. There's a lot less thinking in a way regarding food.
Well, I remember when we started working together, food felt really confusing for you.
Totally. And I was hesitant. I did not want to do intermittent fasting at all. You were so gentle about it. And I was like, okay, I'll try it.
It worked really well for you. Do you think that it would work well for most people?
I think it would work well for everybody. Obviously, you got to check with your coach or whatever to make sure that it is going to work for you. I think everybody could benefit from it for sure.
12 to 8 eating windows are the most popular because in initial mouse studies done for intermittent fasting, the scientists didn't want to be in the lab for longer than 8 hours. There's no magic to an 8-hour eating window. Like Lorraine said, it's convenient and can improve peace of mind around food. It can also be an easy way to eat in a calorie deficit if the goal is weight loss, which for Lorraine, it is. Women who skip breakfast and are highly active in the morning may experience a spike in cortisol right before bed, which limits sleep quality and quantity. Lorraine felt comfortable jumping into a smaller eating window of 12 to 7 because her activity levels were low and the meal she was skipping was her smallest meal. Women who are postmenopausal, like Lorraine, tend to do better with fasting, but there are exceptions to that rule.
Hello.
Hi, Susan.
Hi, how are you? It's a phone call.
I'm doing a video on fasting. Tell me about your experience.
I did it to lose weight because nothing else during my menopause journey seemed to work. When I first tried, I actually did it 2 times a week. I fasted one day, then ate normally. I'd fast another day during the week.
So you would fast for like the Tuesday and the Friday, but then you would eat normally for all the other days.
Yeah. I was careful about what I ate, but I didn't worry about calories. High protein, low carb. And it worked really well, actually. I could almost guarantee that if I did it two times a week, I would lose 2 pounds a week.
How come you're not still doing it?
Finding it really difficult to control my urge to eat. It's really, really hard right now for me to fast. Just menopause hormones or lack of hormones that are increasing my appetite, and I'm finding it hard to resist. Notice that was really hard for me to sleep. Never fast the day before a workout. Makes me feel the next day, the next morning.
So you would just time the fasting days to be not the day before your workout?
Yeah, just so I could make sure I had a good workout. I read like a couple of those Stacy Sims books, she recommends not fasting. So now I'm kind of like, oh boy, I have to do it. I find easiest to conflicting evidence.
I would say that everybody struggles with conflicting information. Fasting for 24 hours multiple times per week is what Susan was describing. It seemed to work well, but for whatever reason was unsustainable. And that's life. Always lean on the side of being gentle, and if information seems confusing and conflicting, reach out to a trusted professional.
Hello?
Hello?
Huh?
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you? You usually don't call me.
You're right.
I was not eating after, I think, 8 p.m. and then not eating until my lunch at work, which was 11 a.m., which for the longest time, that was what I was doing anyways. And I didn't notice it because I just didn't like eating breakfast. You had started having me eat breakfast when we originally started training together. To go back to that, it was really difficult, I found. I think just because my body was like, no, you actually do need this.
How did you know that your body needed it?
I was a lot more irritable in the mornings and a lot more tired.
Oh.
I was noticing though, like I was getting a lot more hunger pangs than I was used to. That's probably due to the fact that I was moving more too.
Fasting may be too stressful for some women. Women who are in their menstruating years and are highly active may experience a decrease in performance and irregularity of their cycle. I experienced both of those side effects when I was eating a carnivore diet and doing a high volume training program. My camera turned off, so I didn't get the tail end of that conversation, but Shania went on to talk about how she no longer skips breakfast, but she has noticed her late night snacking habits have, for the most part, stayed under control since becoming used to not eating after 8 p.m. When fasting, gather data that the body is giving, like energy levels, weight fluctuations, digestion, food behaviors, cravings, and anything else you can think of. This library of data will help to guide future decisions. For example, if you're noticing that fasting makes us feel calmer under pressure, write it down. If we're noticing that fasting is changing our menstrual cycle, write it down. Any lifestyle decision that we make for ourselves should be based on what our body is telling us, not what the internet is telling us. Red flags, or signs that fasting may not be right for us, include an irregular menstrual cycle, chronic fatigue, heart palpitations, anxiety, dizziness, and fainting, and any history of disordered eating. After going through my own health challenges, fasting intrigued me. I loved learning about the deep science behind fasting, and I didn't want to recommend it to clients without trying it myself first. I did the 12 to 8 method, and if I could go back, I would not have done this method. Why? I would work out first thing in the morning and then train 4 to 5 clients, and I was starving, freezing, and very low energy every single morning and had poor sleep for about a year. As an active female, what I needed was to eat during my most active hours. My body fat went down a little, but not much, and I was probably losing muscle. This led me to try a 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. eating window, which yielded better fat loss, but was unsustainable because I wanted to still be able to have dinner with friends and family. But I wasn't done yet. I wanted to try longer fasting. I did a 24-hour fast first, which was relatively easy. A few months later, I did my first 5-day fast. Black coffee helped me have energy to train my clients, and salt water helped balance my electrolytes. Other than feeling good about my self-discipline, I didn't really experience anything life-altering. I still do prolonged fasting every few months. It makes me feel calm and at ease, and I do think there is some merit to the autophagy that occurs. I do not do fasting for body composition. Prolonged fasting as a whole is a completely different ballgame. If done improperly, it can do some serious damage. I have never recommended prolonged fasting to a client, but if I did, I would recommend they do it alongside a medical professional. Be gradual and track data. When I did my first 24-hour fast, I was prepared with black coffee, water, tea, unflavored electrolytes. I also made sure my friends and family were aware I was doing it for added safety and accountability. I love Dr. David Sinclair, Peter Attia, and Rhonda Patrick. At the end of the day, there's only so much information we can gather before we need to just get out there and try it for ourselves. So let me pose the questions again. Should we be fasting? Is it the secret to fat loss and living forever? How do we know what method is best for us? Only you can know what is right for you. Sometimes the only way to know is to try. Often, what we need is not more knowledge. We need wisdom from personal experience, just like Lorraine, Shania, and Susan. I hope this helped. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and click the bell to be notified when I release new videos. Trust your body on your health journey.
Sugar cookies are good. I'll make some up for you. My mom's 100-year-old recipe. You'll love them. We could find other desserts with protein powder and maple syrup that were actually good.
Yeah.
Work on it.
Yeah, I'll let you know when I discover that.